Being an M80 fan has to feel good right now as they get that win in Icebox 13-11. And I'm saying that because every time you get worried a little bit, you get slightly concerned about M80, they always show you that you have no reason to be worried about them Gompers because they're always there to close out the series. They've talked about it before and they continue to do it now on this Icebox.
It's funny too, because they're always put in this position where it's like last second. Like they really do need to clutch it up, and then they're like, oh, okay, we're just kidding. We're M80. Like GG's. And it happened, like at first you get the big clutch that we get from BCJ off the rip to start them off. And honestly, from there, it really was just a huge counterplay in terms of mechanics, you know, the end stage there when it came to everybody on the opposing side, because for Galorys, like, it really was skill at that point that was carrying them very, very far.
But honestly, I know M80 won, but can we talk about Lucha? Because, oh my god, Starybun, he was going crazy. He was trying to win this map for the side of Galorys so bad, no matter what it took, and it was very close, but just not enough.
Yeah, when Galorys needed Lucha the most, he showed up because he is such a key player. He really brought them back, and because he was able to create so much space for his team was able to kind of warm up, get comfortable, and start shooting back as well. It's just unfortunate that it wasn't enough. But if you look at Luxo and Xander, they have very similar play styles. They are both not afraid to take that first engagement. They both can play a very aggressive, mean Viper. They both are huge playmakers for the team. Even on the defense side, you see Luxo not afraid to take his ones. He's like all up in that B main just like Xander is. And you know, even though he does play that traditional retake with the Viper, he's not afraid to go aggressive, and we love to see that. Even with his scoreline, he's 32-17, which I think is insane.
We talked about it. We talked about Galorys against M80 today and how they have to have this mentality of we have nothing to lose. And that's something that we saw from Luxo today. And on this first map, it looked amazing. I mean, he was getting A's, 3Ks, 4Ks right and left. And it seems like he was not going to stop. I know it's terrible. And there was a round that you wanted to breakdown of what he was able to do.
The round that I wanted to really look at for Luxo was his 3K rounds, the one where he kind of went up the kitchen and ended up hitting them with a backstab. And even though like his teammates ended up dying really early, like he ended up really clutching up the round. Another round that I really wanted to highlight was this round by M80. And we talked about earlier if Sato was even going to be able to, you know, get that impact with the op. And this is a very classic M80 round. You see how they approach this opper, like they smoke off that B main, they contact behind it, and they pop flash out with that smoke, completely shutting down that op. And I'm saying, like, M80 is so good at shutting down, like, the key duelists and those star duelist players. And even though Sato ended up having a really great game, it was just like moments like this that really made the difference.
There's a little things that we continue to talk about in that one, especially specifically for that map of Icebox. It always turns out to be the operator and how it ends up playing out, especially with that composition that we've seen over and over on the side of M80 and the way they're shutting down all these star players right and left. But Gompers, as we get to talk about that second map of Sunset, do you think it's going to be the same case as we've seen in the last couple days where they get each other's map pick and then we push to a map number 3? Because now I'm starting to see your vision. You know, now that we got to see this kind of play by Galorys, I'm like, wait a minute.
Listen, the possibility is there, all right? I mean, is Luxo going to get another 30 bomb? Maybe not, but that's okay. I think they have the understanding that Icebox, it wasn't supposed to happen that way, in my opinion. Like, honestly, it should have ended earlier, but Luxo was genuinely holding on for dear life to this game. And I think everybody else was, but it just wasn't the performance for them on Icebox. There were so many mistakes made. But for a map like this, I think there is genuine belief on my part that we could run away from this with an opposing map upset. This is a very strong map for M80, though, I will say. Either way, like, so is Icebox. So for me in particular, I'm not feeling any doubt.
I mean, if we kind of look at the last time both teams have played this map, we saw Galorys really pushing AK into OT, unfortunately falling 13-60 in overtime. And then in the last time we saw M80 was against AK as well, and they also had another overtime game with M80 coming on top on 14-12. So I feel like if Galorys really want to kind of push M80 and even take this win, I feel like they need to stop relying on these hero plays and really focus on that team play and that teamwork, because towards the end of Icebox, we really saw more of it. And that's why they were winning those rounds, all thanks to you know, Luxia keeping them in the game, buying more rounds for them. But as long as they can find that cohesiveness that M80 has, I feel like they can really, really push M80.
Something that we've seen and we've heard a lot about and from the players specifically is that because M80 is that big dog, the one that you want to take down, the one team that you want to destroy, at least it seems like getting so close on the map of Icebox might give some good signs of life on the side of Galorys, where we say, okay, this map of Icebox, it was really close. We know we can actually take them down on this on the sunset, but it is not going to be easy, and that's for sure. Sariban, you mentioned a couple of those pieces before, and I feel like they're going to continue to be so important. That one being Xander on the idling role, and what he's able to do on this map, especially in a map of sunset that you know so well because of how much and how many runs they just played very recently.
Yeah, I mean, Xander's calling has been great. It started to fall off a bit when Luxia was kind of out-aiming everyone, but at the end, they really picked it up. I mean, the last round, they saved, I believe it was like 4 ults just to like win the game, and it's callings like that that can make a really big difference. So I feel like Xander will end up playing like a very pivotal role in the way that they win because, like I said, when it comes to teamwork, M80 just kind of puts themselves on a different level.
I think too, I've noticed for M80, they're much quieter like than any other team we've seen perform as well, and not in a bad way. It's like their own special way where you can see they're constantly thinking about the next best move to make, and it's not where, you know, it seems like, okay, this is a last second plan that we're making for the mid game because our plan didn't originally go right. It's like, hey, we had everything set out from the start, and even if things go wrong, we've had our plan B like 3 months ago, and we're just being quiet. We're gonna take our time to be considerate of the plans that we've made and actually execute them perfectly.
I think it's a good point. Oh, sorry to cut you off. I want to add on Gomper's point
go ahead.
about her saying that M80 is like really quiet. I actually talked to the talent coach, and actually when he was talking about his team, they don't like to like scream or shout or get too hyped in between rounds. They like to acknowledge like, oh yeah, good round, but then they like to move on to the next because it helps keep their focus. So I think that's a really interesting thing.
That's a good point because we've seen teams that get a little too carried away by the excitement on what happened in the last round, and that's when really smart teams are able to capitalize. Oh, you're excited, you're still thinking about the last round, we're gonna play a fast hit that you're not gonna be expecting, and then things turn in the way that you're not expecting at all. So that is an M80 that has honestly been able to learn from their past mistakes. If we remember Ascension last year, they were getting a little too excited. They were standing up, they were yelling, they were screaming on the other side when they were playing against the guard. So now you see how that experience has allowed them to learn exactly what they need to do, and more than anything, exactly what works for the team Gompers.
Dude, they're menaces. They're menacing in the head. I think they're just thinking about like how good it's gonna feel afterward. And that to me is beautiful. I think that's great. I feel like it's more satisfactory when you're like silently good and then you just thrive.
Yeah, you don't need to say anything because the results are proving what you don't really need to say. So that's something that M80 has been doing. Yeah, sure. I mean, we're not gonna lie, we do see the confidence coming from them. We saw that BCJ interview yesterday. He was saying a couple things about how good they feel about going against everybody else, and even Koala Noob also feeling himself and saying that he's gonna diff a lot of the duelists that we have right now. But that's something that is gonna continue maybe to happen as this favorite continues playing all these matches. As a reminder though, for everybody, there is a giveaway from Blacklight. You can get one of the ultimate gaming chairs, so make sure you scan the QR code or you check that pin message in the chat to see how you can win it. And if you can get away with one of those chairs, the white one, the black one, we'll find out. But it seems like there's some tech issues in the meantime. They should be fixed very, very soon. And I want to ask you as well, Sariban, as we hope to get this fixed, do you think there's going to be anything new, any changes that we can expect on this map of Sunset? Maybe not so much on the compositions, but on bringing in different ideas as you continue playing on this tournament back to back.
I feel like for Galorys, I feel like they're gonna play a little bit more together. Like I said, towards the end of Icebox, you really saw them kind of play more, kind of apply that cohesion, get that teamwork going. So I would love to see more of that continuing on to Sunset, like bringing over that confidence that they have. And then for M80, I think they're just going to really stick with their game plan. I think their game plan works. They really trust in each other. You can see that the way that they play, they haven't changed. Whenever there's like quietness around the map, you see one of them, either Net or Xander, it doesn't really matter who, just like taking solo space alone, like they're just feeling confident. So I don't think we'll see too much change from M80, but maybe on the side of Galorys.
The fact that M80 is just hard to expect, but not specifically because of the ideas that they're bringing. It's not like they're bringing something completely new every time, Gompers. It's more like they have these shooters that will turn up whenever is needed, and it's something that has allowed them to be in this instant today, to allow them to be in Ascension, to allow them to be one of the favorites, is having those individual players pop off when they need to, but also have those greater ideas coming through from the IGLing of Xander and also coming from the coaching of Happy.
Dude, everyone is just individually their own GOAT. And I think that's exactly why M80 is so popular. Like, everybody has had a storyline even before M80, before everything had happened with, America's Ascension. These players have been playing for God knows how long, right? So you're combining players who over time have learned, I guess, not even the decency of the game, like mechanics wise and everything. They've been here for so long and they're so accustomed to the movement and the changes of the game and the changes of the rosters and blah blah blah, whatever, right? It's good to see the core of this team and how long they've been together and how much they have grown. Like you said, last year in Ascension, it was a completely different story of their attitudes, and now it's kind of going back into this better team that wasn't really better before. So it's really cool to see the development here.
Another thing I want to add is about Nismo, because we're talking about individual players. I saw that his tweet the other day was that he was saying he was disappointed in his performance and he'll step it up for his team. And although he didn't frag out, he still had 40 assists yesterday, but it's really nice to see him picking it up today. I mean, today he was hitting shots. He was up there on the leaderboard with Koala Noob and Xander. So really big shout out to Nismo. He's been a really key player for the team. His util usage is always good too. And he's always setting up his players.
Yes, we've seen the evolution from Nismo, honestly, from the beginning of this year to what he is now as a player for Valorant specifically, because at the beginning, the team was still trying to find themselves. They've made a couple of roster changes. He was adapting to the team, and he continued to grow and evolve alongside everybody else, and that is what makes him such a key part of this team, Gompers. And I mean, even as you look at the other side, there's only a few people that are able to match that experience, and for Galorys, it's not too much the experience that is going to take you to the finish line. It's going to be so much more about what you yourself were able to practice before and the confidence coming through against this M80 team.
I completely agree. It's M80 could go down at any point too. Galorys is very, very close to taking that map in the last one, and that was purely, honestly, if there had been any other member of the team, if there had been just a quick pickup of the mental and a reset of the game, and they had taken a little bit more time to recollect themselves, I genuinely think Galorys could have run away with that. Okay, Luke Show, you're doing amazing. How about we play off that a little bit more? Because you're fragging, some of us are struggling. We're just gonna change the plan to be let's uplift you for the best, and let's see what can happen there early on in the game with first-hand frags and first eliminations. So for me, they need to take advantage of what's happening in the moment, which I feel like they don't tend to do. They just want to force some sort of something to happen.
I love when teams are able to do that, when you recognize the potential of a specific player at that specific time and you set him up for success. And that doesn't always mean it has to be the duelist and you're going to have to be buying the operator for the duelist every time. But sometimes it's just about, hey, we don't have a lot of money. We have a rifle. Let's give it to this player that is popping off and is allowing us to secure a couple of these rounds there. But I feel like that's a good thing to look for on the side of on the side of Galorys and what they're able to do here. But honestly, they are, and we cannot lie, they're going in such a tough opponent in M80, and at least that you can do is take it round by round.
Yeah, for sure. I think having that mentality of taking it round by round would really work for Galorys, and even just switching up the game plan, just like Gomper said, to setting up Luke Show. He's been such a key player, and just kind of hey, go kill could be the strat for the rest of the game. Even Sato, Sato wasn't having a bad game, and I feel like we could really set him up a lot more for success.
Okay, it seems like everything has been fixed and we're ready to jump into the Blacklight Agent Select. Let's find out what these two teams are going to be playing here on Sunset. And Any first thoughts, any impressions here, Saribun?
You know, like I said, this is like the same comps that they brought out last time. No difference. I would really love to see Sato come alive with that Neon. Like I said, M80 is really good at shutting down that star duelist, and you know, Neons often get shut down when they run in. So I'm gonna be curious on how Galorys is gonna combat that and how they can set up Sato to be better and not get shut down as easily. But I really like the Yoru pick from Koala Noob as well. I think that's like an interesting pick. I'm always a fan of like really cheeky Yoru plays.
I really like this. I really hope that Galorys like just takes some sort of perspective on the last game of Luke doing amazing. Honestly, playing into the Cypher might diminish that in general, but Sato was there from the start. Wasn't necessarily shining as much as Luke's show, in my opinion, but at the same time, they had so many key pivotal moments where they were set up correctly and they could frag. So I feel like it literally is just the game of understanding in the moment how well this is going to work out. So yeah, the Neon, definitely something I'm looking forward to. I hope I see that fast-paced gameplay that we got to see last time.
It's time to find out if M80 are going to get the win 2-0 and continue to be that only undefeated team here in Ascension, or if Galorys is going to get that first map win and take it to the third one. Let's find out with their casters is Shift and Wyatt.
Yes. Okay, so here's the interesting tidbits. M80 do what they need to do in Icebox to take their opponent's map win. Now, even though over the course of this calendar year competitively, M80 may not have been great at this map, since they swapped to the Yoru, they have yet to lose, and most importantly, when they play up against equal-sized opponents, they find major advantages on the offensive side thanks to Koala Noob's presence. On the other side, for Galorys, has not been particularly great for them, including a couple of unfortunate losses, most recently against All Night. So, lots of things to consider, but for Galorys, they need to find a way to take this map and send it to 3.
M80 are really the only team I can think of that like the Yoru on this map. I mean, they like the Yoru on a bunch of maps that you wouldn't think Yoru would be the best on, but Koala makes it work. And, you know, you really think of Koala as a jet player that had always been his main, but this year, Yoru has been his statistical best agent.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Nothing funny about it. I'm not laughing. I'm scared. Terrified.
And they should be too, especially if M80 win this pistol, they get the economy going, and they get an AWP in his hands. He will be everywhere. He will be in the walls, AWPing.
I don't know if that's allowed. Wyatt?
It's like giving the Cypher Cam a Glock. It's basically the same thing.
Oh boy, here we go. A little bit of a feint towards A. It does pull the defense a touch for M80, but they have the spy cam plus, like you mentioned, a very good setup for net behind this. So even though the spy cam can't kill, it does provide tons of intel. Luke Show, a major factor in map number 1.
30 seconds
Can he
left.
find a way to scale deeper in towards the back of sight? Doesn't care about the tripwire. He's just going to allow himself to be revealed, and that's going to be a post-plant setup now.
M80 trying to get faster mid, but Rude might play spoiler if he finds the right moment to pounce, to hit them from the back in market.
What? I was about to say, how does Xander get this read? But everybody from M80 turns. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. Evil now on top of the site by himself, completely blinded, concussed. Wingman's on the way. It's just the kitchen sink being thrown, but you're on going Sato. A little bit of a crossing angle. Takes out a couple more defensive members, and now it's just down Nismo in the corner. They know exactly where he is. Sato just dancing with them, running by, as Uranga will find the final, and Galorys will take the pistol.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Galorys did a really nice job setting up the crossfires in that situation. And listen, Rude did still find enough value with that flank, got some delay, and everything worked out nicely. The players in B main able to clean up, as is their duty in that post-plant situation. A lot of reliance on those guys in B main to deny players getting on the spike, etc. M80 have that deep trip set up on B to try and negate a push from a Neon that would really extend, past Pillar and maybe even into Boba. So they are trying to, counter the general idea of this Neon comp, which is go fast and hit hard.
I must wait a moment.
Spy cam immediately denied. Good opening pressure for M80 down towards B. And some air for caution here for Rude over towards A, as you would normally figure, just kind of playing on the corner. Door will shut on market. That will limit not just the ability for the offense to cut through, but M80 defensively would have to rotate either through the offensive spawn or all the way deep through Boba if they want to get back towards A. But for the moment, Luke Show is just still trying to feel things out. Do they get any intel? And oh, there it is. Whoa, or is it? Luke Show still finds himself one. Not bad considering the circumstances.
Sato trying to capitalize off some of that movement. The swings in market does precisely that. The team pivoting up through mid, safe passage to the A site, not going to give away a thing. And it's just Koala Noob, BCJ. Not a hope in the world to win the round, but maybe a hope to just get a couple guns removed from Galorys.
Yeah. And it's just another moment where it's like, yeah, Luke Show goes 1 for 1, but he should have been dead to rights. He was stuck in the Bermuda Triangle of M80 players. 3 members all around him.
It is crazy how good he's been. If he can continue that Icebox performance here on Sunset. I mean, listen, that's a tall order and a tough ask, but if he even does 75% of what he did on Icebox, he will probably still finish this game as the top fragger, so...
Well, a little pomp and circumstance here at the end of the anti-eco as M80 will sacrifice their lives to the spike. Galorys have found clean exit. They will stay alive into their next bonus, although Rude will drop. Okay.
Yeah, he was just the man with the pistol, so happy to go down in that moment, I suppose. For reasons.
So I mean, it's still a repurchase, like regardless of for from the shadows. Like, well, what are we talking about? Hello?
Not really sure if he wanted to die, or maybe he thought he was gonna find someone to kill. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure chat's scratching their heads just like we are.
We'll save that one for the philosophers to figure out.
Oh, he's got a bulldog, and whoa, here we go. Quick action from Sato, just diving on through mid. Fastlane also gets him over to the cross. BCJ just completely taken off guard. Sloppy shots from Xander also mean that Galorys will again follow up here. This is their bonus, and it looked really nice with full entryway in towards A. And already M80 kind of have to make a decision here of like, do we even go for this?
I know exactly where you are.
There are a couple weak players. Maybe if Net can pick off Rude, and he does. His motion span through Sato is so
what
quick.
Are we doing?
He goes down, just offering himself up on a silver platter.
Are we kidding? Hello? What is this thing on? What is happening right now? What are we doing? I mean, it's a 4v2, and we just individually are peeking. Frustration.
I mean, you know, there was an audio issue tech pause earlier. Maybe they lost communication, perhaps? Or they just decided to not really communicate what they wanted to do together. I mean, that's a nice little heads-up play from Net to just sniff out Rude in mid, get a free first kill, but yeah, guys, a couple too many 1v1s against Nismo there in spawn. We have a crossfire set up for sight.
That is a painful moment. I mean, that is about as perfect as you start off 2 3/4 of a round. If you're Galorys, you get your anti-eco clean. You got a really successful start to your bonus. You have a 4v2, and it's just like we turned our brains off. And now all of a sudden, M80 are in a swing eco round where there's a 1v1 between Koala Noob and Luke Show, who's kind of stuck at the moment, honestly. Trade back, shot back, looking decent. Koala Noob, though, can just gate crash back. That's the power of Yoru.
Yeah, well done from Koala. The V-split is active. He even finds a pick.
Wow, bro.
Down goes Rude. Not going to have any smokes for this post plant. Makes playing B main a little bit tougher when you can't get that dark cover to spam.
Now, Luke Show still in the corner here. Good reveal coming through. This post plant still very difficult to deal with, especially if we're all funneling this fight from Boba to market. Recon bolt also going to be thrown out, but the trades are decent for M80. Now here comes the flood. Last couple of members on site. Just Urango, no utility. Sato, just the ability to go into the high gear. That's all he's got. That might be all he needs. Oh, the slide back through, but Net, good tracking. Has himself to a 1v1. Fault line lands, and Urango will find that as the opportunity to capitalize on the kill. 3-1 the count for Galorys.
And Sato has just casually decided to take over the game. 2 versus 4. I mean, I'm not mad at Galorys. They're trying to fight in market, take the fight to them because they can't really play that passive with their Omen down. It didn't really work out. They lost the duels there, but I mean, I guess that's fine when Sato just peeks out, gets an instant spray transfer, double headshot connection.
And now the eco switches. So now you got an M80 just on pistol upgrades with the Judge. Galorys' offense is going to be supplied with full rifles and the ability for not just the overdrive, but possibly a rolling thunder, which if your Rungo earns it, you figure you don't risk it, you pop it, you get up 4-1, you boost up the eco, and you just run away with the advantage. But a little bit of figuring out here for both sides as Luxo will just kind of watch himself through this spy cam.
Clean round here from Galorys would do wonders for their economy in the middle, or as we enter the middle of this first half. All of them are very, very low on cash, so M80 kills matter quite a bit.
Well, the good news here for Galorys fans is that double from Sato means that you don't have to worry about things like if you do earn the Rolling Thunder, you're going to spend it, because this round should just be one. And they may do it in flawless form. Xander, the last one left, just has the Judge and a Classic. And, well, I imagine Blacklight will be happy because we're looking down the barrel of what will likely be a Blacklight Flawless.
Unless he can just close the distance with the Judge, maybe someone will wander into him, but not going to be the case. That is the Blacklight Flawless, as you called, and virtually no damage done. Two players rebuying armor. That's not exactly the amount of damage M80 would have liked to have gotten. Good adjustment on the aim from Sato to pick up both in the high, low, top, mid.
Oh, yeah. For the Phantom, mind you. Good stuff. And this is what we needed, right? I mean, you talked about it kind of at the last 4 or 5 rounds of map number 1 on Icebox. If Sato can keep playing like this, you don't have to throw all the weight onto Luxo's shoulders. This team's cooking, man. And so far they are. Dizzy up and over. That will at least reveal a little bit of information as the goo gets spit. Dizzy will be collected, and we'll reposition as we often do with Gecko, just playing the backside of sight, waiting for the next time to throw Dizzy up.
There was a big repositioning from M80, maybe 10, 15 seconds into the round. They've decided to leave Koala Noob with this op in B main. He can play because he has the ult, and he gets that free first kill. Gate crash too. Yep. Didn't expire yet.
Sato looking to go quickly. Oh, what a shot from Koala Noob. Xander, hey, how are you? Shakes hands with Root on the other side. And Evil Kick says, I don't like this. I don't like this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad. Xander's still in position, and that'll be enough for Evil to get completely isolated. Yurango, last one left. The flash is out, and all of M80 are there. What a shot, though, from Koala Noob. Unreal.
Yeah, and this is where the M80 defensive game plan really gets cooking. It's about Koala Noob with this operator. Taking forward space like that, such a deep angle. It's going to be so difficult for Galorys to have to clear all of this out now while it's in his hands.
Yikes. That's all you can say. And now you look at the lit up scoreboard, which is almost every single ultimate at the ready here. The ones that matter. Dimensional Drift, Thrash on one side. On the other, you're looking at the Rolling Thunder and maybe a follow-up of Sato with the overdrive if there's a chance. Rude crossing corner, Koala Noob connects and gets away. Just the smallest margins of pixel favor towards Koala Noob, gets a very convenient first blood as that's the Sova down and out.
So proactive. Like I said, he's in the walls. Is he in B main? Is he pushing down mid into tiles? He could be anywhere, everywhere. So good at opping. Playing this Yoru. Rude is just trying to find an opening in the start cover, but Nismo, he's a little bit ready. Just a little bit.
Well, okay, Nismo has to kind of snap back over to confirm the trade. Luxo following up, and yeah, he's good for it. Neural Theft immediately gets spent. Durango on the plant. Rolling Thunder still at the ready. And it's going to be used immediately? Okay. But the thing about this, it doesn't really connect to anybody, but does it matter? Sato and the Neon presence is just too damn strong. And Koala Noob will say, I like my op. I don't want to give it away. So he'll back off and maybe see if he can avoid Luxo, who's on the hunt.
Yeah, Luxo he's so close already. Poor Koala Noob is just...
he hears it.
On the run. No.
I can smell you. Free.
And yeah, just a little bit free. Might have considered the knife, but yeah, we're all good.
I think
we're up 5-2.
You know,
we're here to win.
At the behest of the VALORANT Americas stream, I think we were all kind of hoping to see a knife. But I will say, man, Sato really popping off on this Neon, man. And again, it's crazy how one change, I won't say little change, how one change makes this agent just so much more relevant.
Yeah, definitely. And in little moments like that, you can see that players might not be totally prepared or used to the speed even still. It's so hard to kind of mentally adjust. Like, you saw right there the paranoia in the hands of the Omen. So he's just fully caught out, no gun ready. If Sato's playing, you know, Raze and is walking on over, that blind might have hit him, might have hit the breach as well.
Very true.
Not with the Neon. You were just getting fully exposed by that slide.
Crazy things, man. And I'm here for it. It changes the dynamic of what Valorant looks like when you got an agent that can just break timings like that. It almost reduces the efficiency of what we saw in what was a very initiator heavy meta for a while until that comes out, because like you said, you can just break it, just absolutely push through it. Tactical timeout here for M80. Just want to talk about it after this. Is their map selection has not gone particularly well to this point. And outside of Koala Noob on Yoru, I'm not going to lie, there hasn't really been much in terms of formidability in terms of what M80 is putting together defensively. So they are going to get Koala Noob back onto the operator again. That's been their win condition, but Sato quickly, right on in, just guessing on the corners of the smoke, takes down VCJ. Koala Noob responds, and whoa, long range with the overdrive. Blinds out Koala Noob, and now mid-map, Luke Show, does not actually land. So we got a 3v3. Defensive Rolling Thunder is ready here, Wyatt.
Yeah, Nismo, if he can get a big connection, look at this. Rude is actually teleporting, and he might just go right back to where he's at.
Oh, but all of the players who've been booped up in the air have survived. Sato, now all of a sudden with Rude retaking space through mid, can just isolate the defense away from the spike. Xander on 5 HP, dealt with. The only player left alive is Nismo on top of the spike, and Sato is right in your face. He is...
Well, what can you do? What can you do? Sato is just ruling over the server. BCJ did not get to play Valorant that round.
Correct.
He was just stood in the corner. Sato just runs over. Lightning gun brings him to 0. I mean, it's just outrageous what people are doing with the Neon at this point. It's so crazy. 14-3.
What do you do against that? I mean, you have to hope your utility lands.
Hope they pick Jet on Haven.
Well, there's also that. Trapwire will come through, and Rude just holds it. I mean, that's the decoy that gets revealed by it. Doesn't make much of a difference. Luke Show in a bit of trouble. Cyberkitch down to provide an exit, but the offense looks pretty solid here. I mean, this is all action towards A, but the Aldrin is scouted out. There's no one on B. It's just Nisbo and Net, even in the ballpark, and they just have sheriffs.
And that's forward. Sato ready, but goes down. Fast trade, though. Galorys do a good job getting into a free B site. Just
planted.
Feeling all that pressure you mentioned on A, knowing that it'll be the weaker side, and Drone, you know, certifies that information for them. Just playing a nice, safe setup in main, long-range duels with the better weapons. Standard stuff. Should close this out with ease.
Been a little bit difficult for M80 to get their contest live. Pardon me? Koala Noob. That's good for the first. Thrash is going to be spent here. This is an opportunity for M80 to make their play in. The detainment comes out, but Koala Noob loses the first battle versus Urango, and that may put things out of contest as he can still hold close. Nismo making things punishing, but there's no more time for the defuse. Plus the reveal at the end secures the elimination, and it's a 7-2 start through 9 for Galorys, looking really clean.
I'm simultaneously a little surprised they went for that with the Thrash, but also not. The situation was close enough, and they just need rounds on the board at this point. That would have been a good upset win, swing the economy back, so not surprising, but surprising. It was close to working. If they just got that kill, I believe that was Koala Noob in with the Stinger. If he had converted onto the breach, onto Orango holding the backside, maybe, but just doesn't happen.
Sato high gear deep. Oh, excuse me. That was a little bit mismanaged. Hunter's Fury does come through, but the defense is dancing, teleporting right into the thick of it. Evil's gonna get 2. Oh, Xander thought he was being sneaky. Says, here I am. I'm revealed. I'm gonna teleport away. And he instead teleports right on top of a teammate. They get doubled up, and now we've got a fresh 2v2.
Now this is scary from that. You know, he's trying to watch forward while simultaneously trying to peek through the cam. Fake stun towards A. That is weary.
The spike. Last player standing.
Trade is decent. Spike immediately collected. Urango through the door, shuts it behind him. Very courteous. Should be a plan. He's got both flashes, and maybe the aftershock reaches if he puts it in a good spot, but instead is going to play on top of the site. And now it's a guessing game. Does Koala Noob pop the dimensional drift here just to catch the intel? Does he want to try to sneak up behind?
Just biding his time, playing it slowly. Can't be understated how important this 1v1 clutch is right now. The economy hangs in the balance for M80.
Fooled by the decoy. Koala Noob, takes the brute force of that. Urango, though, wait, he's playing with his utility! Oh, he's done so much damage!
Stop
But
trying.
instead, thinks that Koala Noob's gonna back off. Aftershock gets spent, and in that moment, it's the window for Koala Noob to catch him with no weapon out, and he secures the 1v1.
Yeah, just overheating, overthinking, had so much utility available, and just didn't need quite as much as he thought. Could have played that a little more passive, maybe with a gun out, but hindsight 2020, the whole thing. Crucial from Koala Noob. Crucial. If they lose that round and then they're back on eco again, that's basically a 9-2, almost guaranteed for Galorys. So.
Oh, that's frustrating. And I get it. You know, you're on breach. You've got a full utility belt of abilities to spend. Just gets caught being a little too cute, especially considering that, hey, you already did the hard part. You got Koala Noob off the 1v1, down to a bullet worth of health. Learned lesson, but at what cost? As Galorys, they have already gotten through the corner with a look at elbow. There's only a spy cam in their way, and the gate crash will expire, so this will be a slow rotation back for M80 if there is a commitment on day.
It's a slow take of elbow right now. Waiting for an opportune moment to send out that
Huge
rolling
burst.
thunder into the site, Luke Joe.
All right, this has to be a round win for Galorys. You've got a 5v4. All of the site. We're still trying to push with this rolling thunder. Sato, does he have net completely pinned up? It's antsy. It's really nervy. Tried to break it. Sato beeps the movement. Oh, and he hasn't done that yet. But it's just a dead slide that comes out. And now all of a sudden, M80 with the dimensional drift can get an eye on where exactly this post plan is. Here's Koala Noob. Decoy's gonna work out for the self flash. And now the blindside around the corner. Koala Noob tees it up, lets it fly. A complete misplay from Sato, just hits the wrong buttons. And that leads to M80 finding the retake.
It was a good idea. I'm not mad at the attempt to kill net. But what an overheat. Just desperate to capitalize. At some point there, needed to realize that that play attempt, we are too far gone. I must retreat and live, and we can just play this man advantage. And then the dimensional drift from Koala Noob, such a distraction, got so much info. And then, yeah, that decoy you called out, popping out of that with the flash, destroys Orango, and all of a sudden the players on site, they're getting hit by Link, hit by Spawn, hit by Elbow then too, and they can't cover all of those angles.
Oh, we're not done.
Trying his best to keep his team in this half. He is really stepping up.
For a second, I was about to say we're going to have ourselves a mixy battle here at the front side of A. Instead, M80 will back off the angle. I was going to say, just kind of as a final footnote on that last play, it just felt like you got the Rolling Thunder and already deep presence at A. Why not just save it to stop the retake? But Again, hindsight. This time, Sato gets flashed up with the paranoia, but ooh, counter comes through. Sato, pardon me? Why are we joking? Unbelievable. Support was nearby, but Sato just dives into it, finds himself a second before being traded, and now surely this is an 8th round for Galorys, as it's just a 4v2 situation.
Talking about Qualinu being the hero, he'd have to do a hell of a lot there. It's just net. He claims the first, but how can he win this out? He's getting wrapped around by 2 players. When he taps the spike, he is in serious danger.
Well, he's cleared a lot of space, but does not consider the flank. So an 8-4 half, but like you said, I think we were looking at that one as at least 9-3, probably 10-2. That was a brilliant half from Galorys, just a couple of missed chances, but I think the question now is, did they do enough? Is that wide enough of a gap as we swap the sides around?
Yeah, Galorys were doing a great job of finding picks while kind of getting the spike down, evening things up when they were at man disadvantages. So many moments where they were catching off M80 players mid-rotate on that half, really excelling in kind of that aspect of the game. Now we'll see what they can do on the side swap. I mean, we already talked about it in that first game today ad nauseum, how this comp with the Neon, for all the teams running it, is so attack favored. They can dominate attack size, and then it's about what can you do on defense to close the game out. This is where you get the advantage, but defense is where you actually win. So things will be tough, even though it's just 4 rounds for M80.
Yeah.
But obviously, if Galorys win this pistol round here, we should just be wrapping this one up and headed over to Haven.
Yeah, very well could be. I mean, the only other consideration here is that, with this composition in particular, the offensive side, like I kind of mentioned at the top of this map, has been where M80 have bested equal opponents. I mean, you can look at some results like versus YFP, where it's just like, oh, they just dominated them from start to finish. But in tight games, like the ones they played versus All Knights, the ones they played back in the upper semis versus Oxygen Esports, it was the offensive sides that got them through tight maps. Talking about a 10 offensive round win side for them versus Oxygen, and then an 8 offensive round win when they played up against All Knights. So there are things to keep in mind here in terms of M80's presence on the offensive side. The flip part about this is that just as good as Galorys was on offense, they can also say the same thing in terms of defensively. They have not been particularly great here, and that's what's cost them a couple of tight matchups in their region.
All right, here we go. Second half, M80 pining for this comeback. Gathered up outside of B right now. Spike in tow on BCJ. Obviously going to be trying to get as many plants with the wingman as he can. Just get as many Thrash ultimates as he can.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the highest I've seen from BCJ is like, I think he had 4 in one offensive half once.
Yeah,
it's just...
I believe it.
Guy does work. Put it plainly. Evil like, ooh, difficult. Oh, good counter fall line. It saves the life to be sure. A little bit of damage tallied gives a small advantage to M80, but a brilliant reveal from Luxo, who also has the one-way cyber cage that stalls out M80 just a touch further, allows Galorys to evaluate the scene and deal with it. Followed though from Nismo in a good position with really just a couple of members that are low on HP. Qualinu 1v1, but down to 18 health is the problem. He has the spike, but he's got no idea that Rude's on this flank. Or does he? No, he does not. Rude finds the kill, and Galorys will take the pistol.
Nicely done from Rude. Rude on this map constantly tries to get behind to flank in main. He does that so often, so M80 need to be ready for that, but frankly, at this point, how many rounds will little detail like that even really come into play when Galorys are just 4 away from getting to Haven, stealing away the map pick from M80, a map that, like you mentioned prior to this game starting, M80 haven't lost since including the Yoru in this comp. They're on a 4-game winning streak.
Things looking difficult for the moment. Sato, aggressive. Dizzy out. Rude there to protect. And the relay bolt behind it. Yeah, good combination of utility, but we're not done yet. Nismo still forcing. Gets us to a 1v3 with Urango really being the difference maker there with the final 2 kills in the interaction. So Stinger will be collected, and Nismo, this is a difficult 1v3 with the Stinger in hand.
I mean, when you're stacked up going towards a site early in the round, if it's the round where the Breach and the Neon on defense happen to be there, GG. Just go next. I mean, eating the double stun, then you're getting aftershock, blinded. I mean, you're just cooked.
Yep. Recon bolt down. Nismo will be concussed and revealed. Does well, at least to catch another plus the plant, so money will be decent. But still, like you said, 10 for the count here. So not a lot of room for forgiveness for M80 on the offensive side. They've got to put together a handful here immediately if they want to have a chance at bringing this map back.
And right now, Galorys is trying to collect every little gun on the ground that they can, I suppose. Take every advantage they can find, get that defuse onto Arango, who is inching closer to a fairly early Rolling Thunder in this half. Nismo will be as well after those few kills he collected and got that plant, then dies, so Breach ults could be coming into play pretty early here.
Man, I mean, is this one of those situations you kind of look at it and say, like, if Koala Noob doesn't just take over, this competition struggles a little bit? Like, I don't want to, reduce it to just that, but talk about the rounds that were won in the first half. It was Koala Noob with an op. And
yeah, absolutely. It was Koala Noob with the op. It was Koala Noob with the dimensional drift. It's a pretty cool lineup from Evil Kick that just gets sent all the way over to A, playing market, destroys that standard tripwire. So now M80 are always going to have to be concerned that there could be someone pushing through A, and my money's on Rude. He loves to flank on this map.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, we know Luke Show is going to be locking down a site. He's not going to be the one to alert.
Cover going out.
Deep dark cover being spent for the offense, but Rude one-ways himself, just throwing to see if he can catch a couple of toes. Paranoia gets spent. Dizzy out. So that's a good exchange in terms of ability for ability costs in favor of M80. Forces Galorys to, I was going to say, rotate somebody over, but they're still sticking that Rude can hold this by himself with no utility.
Just that Stinger in hand, close range. Wouldn't be crazy for him to just get one. They're lined up. Oh my god, I was worried there for a second.
It's good damage, but the problem about this is, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't try to rotate Urango over to help him out with the flash or a fault line. Because this retake becomes very difficult. Have to win a gunfight somewhere, and that... What?
You are joking, man. And the stun is perfect, that relay bolt.
That is unbelievable, but the fight back from BCJ is better. Now it's just down to a 2v1 Luxio by himself, but that might be all you need as the Vandal is collected. Wingman. Just throwing himself out as bait. And for a moment, you thought that it was going to be Neon antics again, but M80 survived with just enough numbers.
Yeah, Sato, he is definitely activated in this series. That is some filthy activity. Sliding in with the Guardian. The Guardian. Come on, man. That relay bolt was perfect as well. Placed into the corner. BCJ, just straight up the hero. That's pure individual skill.
Yep.
Doesn't get traded because he's just too accurate with the Phantom. Pure individual skill from a well-tenured player trying to get back to that tier 1 scene.
That's huge. Because it looked like for a moment Sato was just going to do it all himself again. But the bonus gets denied. And M80 build up a little bit of bank account off of that. A couple of good trade backs, though, from Galorys in that bonus. We'll, I'm sure, have a couple of players maybe on light armor at worst. But all things told, we should have a full purchase round for both of our two teams when we come on the backside of this technical pause. Again, we're not counting how many there's been. We're just going to keep rolling with it.
Absolutely. I can't even remember. Is this the first one?
This is the first one. Yeah, first time we've seen this. Yeah.
This never happens.
No. What does technical pause mean? That's the first I'm seeing that. PC load letter? What does that mean? You catch that reference? Please tell me you catch that reference.
God.
Any Office Space fans out there in the chat? That's an oldie but a goodie. Holy cow. I've lost Wyatt. I'm off the reservation. He's not with me, friends.
I'm just, listen. I'm just, I want you to envision right now. It's, you're watching Leviathan. You know that guy Icebox?
Who?
So decent Valorant player.
Oh, okay,
That guy,
yeah, sure.
That guy's all right.
Yeah.
I just want you to imagine Icebox right now during a pause, back, lounging. That's me right now. Icebox, for real. But now the game is back.
Here.
I have returned.
Okay,
I too
welcome back.
will return to sentience.
You've homework, though. You've got to go watch Office Space.
Okay, deal.
No! Pain.
All right, I guess I'll go watch it right now.
You know? Okay, let's kind of tally the situation, though. We've got ourselves a 5-round advantage if you're looking at this for Galorys. They're coming off of a bonus loss. They're going to be in full purchase mode. You've got a lot of initiative, I think, just favoring you off the fact that Sato is clicking. I mean, he's red hot. So is there an opportunity that you just keep kind of utilizing him with these quick little high gear shoulder slide outs, maybe support from a smoke or a paranoia, catch one, get back, play a 5v4? Or do you just keep trusting that Sato's going to be your initiator on retakes? Because it's really been a little bit of both so far.
Yeah, I want to see him go fast. I'm going to be honest. I want to see them continue to play with some space, fight for the chokes, throw in a round here where maybe you're getting Sato deep down mid, fighting through mid tiles rather. I want to see some action like that. Keep applying the pressure. He's got the hot hand. Just let him run wild right now.
Absolutely. Okay, looks like we have resolved the issue for good. So, well, I say for good. This time, okay, it's for good. Got the Dimensional Drift available plus the Thrash. That has usually been enough for MA to guarantee a round. Shock darts are crazy, dog. Dimensional Drift out. Koala Noob going to get full clearance at B. And again, this is Galorys. They know what's at stake here. They know. They've seen the film. They know M80 are going to do this. So it has to be retake. High gear at the ready. Urango is a true eliminations away from a Rolling Thunder. So it's going to have to be done the hard way to start. And that's a great opener from Net.
So aware of the flank, stacked up with Koala Noob as well. Rep, ready. Are they going to go forward? Timing for Sato is off court. I mean, how does he even get one?
It's quick reactions, all it is. Teleport back. Rude not in a position to keep on this flank. Thrash going to be spent to make sure of that. The focus now has to come back over towards the front. Rude is running for his life. Get away from me, you fish. He's going to get detained by it. Koala Noob's going to say, what's up, dude? How are you? Don't lose track of the spike, though. Mosh comes out and Luke Show gives himself a try at a 1v1, but not enough time on the clock. So both ults are spent. Success for M80, and now they've got a Rolling Thunder for the following round.
Yeah, a clean round and an important swing round breaks the economy of Galorys, makes this comeback far more of a reality than it was when this round started. That awareness from Net is just really great. I mean, it's so standard now at this point for teams to be pressuring the flank on Sunset when you've executed on B.
Big time.
You know, it took a little bit of time to get there, but everyone has fully understood how overpowered it is to just spam the spike through B main, so you have to apply pressure from different angles.
What?
Joe, where was that even? He just peeked B main?
B main?
Takes out Koala straight away. All right.
The interesting thing was, I'm pretty sure they saw this teleport. Yeah, there was like a moment of that little animation that plays on the outside of him actually teleporting. The little smoke or shadow, whatever you want to call it, has been seen. So as much as there is isolation from the side of Galorys, M80 do the same through mid tiles. Do they anticipate the straight walk down of two more players, though? Urango, that's a brilliant shot. And all of a sudden, M80 are in a little bit of trouble, but they do collect another, so we'll stay 2v2.
2 versus 2, where Nismo has that Rolling Thunder you mentioned earlier. So long as they can get this spike down and go to a safe location, doubled up, wait for the tap, and then pop that ult, they can win this out. But this is Sato with the overdrive. I don't know. That's a scary sight.
Oh, Luke Show can't deny the plant. Nismo watching for this Sato run through. Oh, missed chance for Luke Show. Stays alive, though. BCJ down to 3 HP. Rolling Thunder to get spent. Does it connect? Oh, may not have, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. And yeah, it actually did. Luke Show does get booped back. But they get the isolation onto Sato. A little bit of pressure. M80 are going to have to check this, you'd think. Sheriff shot lands. It's doable. All it takes is one. Fault line. Oh! Luke Show! Wall concussed! Hits the shot! And that's enough for a round 11 to get tallied for Galorys and a hell of a Zippo clutch!
I don't know what to say. You have to be joking. How does he get that? I mean, I suppose, I don't know, if you want to nitpick certain things, I suppose M80 could have played some of these moments better, like the jump. I mean, why? Who even cares? How does he hit that? Fully stunned up. They win an eco round. By the way, that started with Luke Show just swinging into B-main and one tap koala as well. What the hell, man?
I can't, dude. I'm not going to have a voice for the rest of this tournament. Are you kidding me? A little bit of a swap of the operator back over to Xander's hands now as the decoy gets sent Aftershock to try to get in towards the corner. Defense still holding in. Who's home? Luke Show's home. Ball noob revealed, dealt with quickly. Follow up. Good for Rude. Rolling Thunder going to deny the paranoia play as Galorys are going to come out cleanly with the first couple eliminations, and it's not done yet. How about this Galorys squad? Net, BCJ, 2v5. Have to have it.
The assistance there for Luke Show backside is just perfection from Galorys. All of the utility coming in to support him. That ultimate, the flash that came through, blinded up Nismo when he was trying to wrap to that back box to get the trade onto Luke Show. It's just perfect. These guys look fantastic right now.
Oh, BCJ, rare miss, but Net follows up. This is going to be a save of the operator plus the rifle in what would be
30 seconds
really
left.
Those are the hero weapons coming into the next round here. That's going to be a force buy from here on out for M80. But wow, what a statement this is for Galorys. After a 13-11, I think in some regards, M80 are going to be thinking, wow, we're lucky to see a third map here if this holds.
He's not going to go for this, I mean. He certainly could. The economy's not great for Galorys right now, though, and they just want to retain their guns to close things out. Okay, the flash is perfect, doesn't get turned in time. The reaction from BCJ not there. They're going to have scraps to work with for their last little hope, the last round, and it's just one round win away for Galorys to take this to Haven.
Wow. I mean, we saw it. I mean, we mentioned it. We saw it. There were rounds in map number 1 that Galorys arguably should have been walking away with no issue. Luke Show gives him a fighting chance to even stay alive in the map. And now all of a sudden you're looking at a 12-6 comm with M80 going to a tactical pause where, I mean, the laundry list is long of things that they need to be talking about right now. Sato has individually been taken over. Luke Show is still good, by the way. And the problem has been M80 really haven't even gotten a spike plant to talk about. So it's just like the execution, which has been so given. We talked about it with the Gecko often getting free plants, it feels like. That hasn't been the case at all.
It's just the speed that Galorys are playing with, which is so impressive. And obviously that is what, you know, the Neon allows. That's the advantage of it. But also within that speed, you need to be so aware of and drilled with the utility that you're sending out to make sure that it's all placed perfectly for your Neon other players to capitalize off of, right? When you're sending in all that breach util, when the relay bolt is coming through, all of that stuff. The paranoia just needs to be perfectly placed in such fast, chaotic moments. And they're doing a great job of that.
It's just, look at what this has done. With Sato's success early, that forces a fault line, a dizzy, and a paranoia just to get B main. Very expensive. Galorys are like, fine, have it. We'll just restack back up towards mid. Gate crash is sent in towards market. Xander to clear. Follow-up is there. So all 5 members going to approach over towards B, but look how quick Galorys are trying to get here. Luke Show holding out of the site, but only so long. As now, the eliminations look decent for at least a post-plant setup here, pending they can get the spike and actually plant it, because that's now down at B main.
Nismo going to go collect spike off the ground. Net forced back, almost an opportunity to smack down the weak Rude, trying to get back into Boba.
Now Nismo's going to hold on to this fault line until he
Enemy remaining.
gets some sort of information. clean from net. Last player is Rude, seen in the corner. And he's just going to try to back off a little bit, try to reset this just a touch, but he's largely missed his window. It would have been off for that 1v1, so. M80 stay alive. They're going to get to 7. Opportunity for some decent weapons to be,
Cover going
I would
out.
think, collected here. Should be at least, yeah, okay. Koala will be able to find another. Nismo's going to re-wrap back over, and it's going to be 3 weapons picked up. And that provides at least some sort of a lifeline here. But the thing about it is, this is still a long road to go, and Galorys are going to be able to get another round of ultimates.
Oh, absolutely. That's really the thing, right? They could do what M80 did on the last round.
Correct, yep.
The call that they made to just stack them up. And listen, it was a 12-11, but they had 4 ults for that round, close it out 13-11 due to that. So Galorys can absolutely do the same thing. They'll have a full buy heading into this round here. Yeah, I'm nowhere near believing in this comeback yet. I don't doubt the ability of M80 to do it, but nowhere close to belief status just yet.
It would be a far cry, especially with what we still have to deal with. Now, that told, the ultimates on this map, not nearly as potent as what we saw in Icebox, save the Hunter's Fury and the Rolling Thunder, which are a bit away. But again, they will be seen again, likely, if we start to consider things like overtime. Opening engagement. Just pixel peaks on both sides. Nismo takes the brute force of a lot of the damage. And we'll stay 5v5 for now.
Not just deep in mid, keeping his eyes for anyone crossing. But it's a passive hold of it from Galorys. Sato just on that angle close to Boba. Nothing too proactive from Galorys really at all here. Until this moment. Some elbow presence being shown. The peek out actually from Arango. And you can see that that has Galorys players drifting towards B.
But Sato in the picture. Does not get baited by the decoy.
They found my wife.
Luke Shaw inside the cyber cage. What can he provide? He gets the first, still alive and kicking. DCJ, the rest of it meeting in the corner, but Quality provides. Thrash is going to be spent. And Yurango, well, that darn fish. Oh no! And Rude once again finds himself in an unfortunately familiar position in 2 straight rounds in a 1v impossible. And that is a very clean round, only spending the Thrash there for the side of M80.
All right. That's not too bad. The economy's now broken.
Yep.
For Galorys. So going to have to full save. And somehow it always ends up being that round where the comeback comes to an end. Luke Show's just going to randomly hit a sheriff shot on someone again, top of the round, and then you lose to the eco in tragic fashion. Somehow that is just always the case. Maybe M80 can prevail, though. As looking at the ult economy there for Galorys, they are still a ways away for the breach ult, the Hunter's Fury. But that being said, if M80 keep winning rounds, they will get them just at the end of this game. So there will inevitably be that everyone ults around.
Yeah, math be mathing for that. Spy cam deleted. Free B site at the moment, just a cyber cage, or probably a trap wire in the way, which the decoy will take care of. It's a full wrap from behind, and Net will get his tripwire up at the exact right moment. He also will hold onto this ankle. A little bit of damage tallied, but nothing of too much concern. Quality will actually teleport back to be main. They do not want to allow that to happen, which is Sato to jump on in. Shotgun also out. That works for Koala, who now changes back. He's John Wick. He's got every weapon. He picks it up in midair. And Rude and Yurango will be trying to play this from opposite sides. And again, the key here is Yurango needs to die.
Just trying to get in, and I mean, listen, damage doesn't even matter. Just send it, boys. Just send it. It was a decent attempt on that big B flank, but on the eco round, the utility was so sparse that Sato was essentially just dry diving through that. That dark cover just wasn't really enough for him. There was a recon that went in, but just not enough. So now is the real deal, though.
Yeah, we're getting there.
The actual buy for Galorys, Dimensional Drift for Koala Noob, and almost a Rolling Thunder. So ults ever important at this juncture in the game.
And I think the more important thing here for the side of M80 is if you don't have to spend it, we shouldn't. We just can't. Like, I don't think we can start a round in a 5v5 and spend the dimensional drift. If we can avoid that, that'd be ideal, because the dimensional drift can really put a pause on the inevitable rolling thunder. You know, there's also the considerations of, can we get the wingman plants back in action? Can we get another thrash up before we start to talk about things like OT? There's a macro game here. I mean, let's not get it twisted, Freds. This is a micro game in the fact that M80 still has to win rounds to even consider these long-lasting talking points. But yeah, it is one of those considerations that as we get deeper and deeper towards potentially an overtime, those ultimates become a major win condition from Galorys.
3 chances for them out of this tack pause. And I mean, another little micro factor here is that maybe M80 win this round or the next using all the ultimates they've built up. But then it just only takes one. Yep. Where if Galorys retain theirs, there's their round. So much weighing on these last few rounds. Galorys still, they are 0-2 right now. And if they lose this game 0-3, they'd have to win the remaining 2 and then get in through tiebreak. M80 right now 2-0. A third win pretty much damn near guarantees their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah. Progression here from Galorys, and yeah, this is all about getting Urengo closer and closer to this rolling thunder. Can he get out though? That's the question. Good fast lane. Oh, but it doesn't allow him to actually get back into the site. Does Sato want to challenge this? He's done crazier things in the past. This time though, thinks about it and says, no, we need to make sure we're at least fighting, because if we drop this, we're likely once again sitting in a weird eco situation. So yes, they get the orb plus the death. Urengo's going to be right on top of that rolling thunder, but this is looking like a clear-cut advantage for M80 as they can now play around with the clock.
There.
So there was a presence shown from Galorys deep mid. M80 have to be nervous about that. You know, someone could be pushed into tiles. It's possible. Koala Noob watching that. So trying to re-clear towards A. Get into main, though. You know, they do have the option of pivoting back towards mid and going for this B split where Net has just retained control.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like this is just an elaborate fake. Koala Noob headed towards the A site, but the rotates aren't drawn. Look at Galorys, steadfast in B, have not bought into this whatsoever.
The thing about this is there maybe a call? It's running out of time for it, but say, is there maybe a call where they re-wrap back over to A, but it's not going to happen. Dizzy out. That provides the opener. Sato on the corner. Decent damage. Rude following. Also provides, but it's net for 3, net for 4. We have had so many aces. Does anyone want to buy the sponsorship spot? Because it's going to pay. Just down to Luke Show, and he's just going to try to save the weapon.
A very elaborate fake that it didn't end up drawing any rotates, but it just didn't matter. That's an FPS game moment. Net just walking in, winning all the gun duels. Caught that first great kill too when the fault line came through. That is nicely done. The economy back in the bin for Galorys. Luke Show just trying to retain this one last fight.
Oh, do it. Do it. Do it! Someone buy the sponsorship spot!
Is that the, wait, 4th or 5th of the day?
That's, I think, the 5th. Right? 4th at least. I don't count that good, Wyatt. Oh my gosh.
That wasn't even... Wow, I thought a fault line came through on that moment in B, but that just swung. That player was totally exposed. Backside, they weren't on the line. Maybe at the last second there, they were kind of getting baited off into rotating. But just didn't really notice in the moment. It's kind of locked in on the mini-map.
Well, there's also...
fake. It kind of worked a little bit at the end there.
I was going to say, that's also just the net difference is, how about this? Sato tries to get aggressive. We're back onto a half-limited buy here for Galorys. And that's enough for first blood to come through. The Dizzy lands. Tile's presence still under threat as Evil is right on the outside of this. Oh, he just would not predict this corner. Although the neural theft will come out and they will catch Evil. So M80, turn it up, my guy. Clean eliminations, and every elimination for Koala Noob is a good one if he can get another dimensional drift back online. I mean, that would be a hard-pressed issue to think about, but it's possible.
I'm going to need VCJ to not plant this, but too late on that one. You definitely want to give that to Nismo.
Oh, facts, yeah. Yeah, 2 off. And honestly, the game's going to be decided in this round after this.
Yeah. This is the round that Galorys, listen, they would have loved to have won any of these other ones, but this right here is the fallback option.
Yeah.
Last round of regulation. Throw out every ult they can. Orengo's got his Rolling Thunder. I know that for sure. Nismo would have really benefited from getting that spike plant down. It was safe too, 5 versus 2, so...
Oh, the interesting
little thing not being considered, and in a heated moment though, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a tough. It is tough to consider everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a time like this, but
I think the reason though that I sit here and say that this round is everything, and this is the game, is not just because obviously if M80 lose it, the map is over. Otherwise, we go to overtime. But the fact of the matter is, Galorys have been playing for ultimate macro since 4 rounds ago. It feels like they haven't shown much in terms of their ability to take the 5v5 without ults. So, I get it. It's a bit of a safety net, pending, of course, that you win the round. So here it is. You're 1 off of 100 Spirit. You've got just the Rolling Thunder. So maybe not as convincing as we were framing it up to be from 4 rounds ago.
One way down from Rude, just jiggle peeking, ready to send out that paranoia, really just as a safety mechanism if M80 decide to push up here.
Going out.
One-way cycled, further delay.
I'll tell you one thing. You don't want to waste this paranoia. Still being held onto. Sato has joined the front side of this A main play. The gate crash is still available for Qualnoob to come back. He's trying to fake out B. This is going to be an A hit. And all the pieces are in place here in terms of what information that Galorys has. Although Evil doesn't actually see Qualnoob inside a market. This could be huge if he finds a timing on this peak.
Just not spotted out. Qual in danger. M80 are running over to him though. They're ready to get into B late. A pivot.
Oh, and Evil misses a window. Koala was not looking for that. Oh, the recon bolt doesn't get placed correctly. All of a sudden, M80 can try to push forward over towards Boba. Rolling Thunder spent early. Luke Show with a neuro theft. Can he find more than just 2? He's stuck on site by himself. Spike still in hand. The slide out from Sato is good. The secondary better. And Sato puts the map away. We're going 3.
And it ends in the same fashion as Icebox. Ultimate save for the final round. And when that hit comes in from M80, a pretty late pivot to be, met by the Rolling Thunder, met by the Overdrive. Quality was so close to finding a first blood there onto Evil Kick. Just missed the window, just got it spotted at the last second too. Galorys were set up, prepped for that. It was truly one of the fakest comebacks of all time, which you hate to see if you're an M80 fan. But if you're an M80 fan, we are going to Haven, where yesterday they completely dominated Rada. They were lights out on this map. So if they can continue that into today, you've still got to be feeling pretty good, despite how well Galorys are playing.
I mean, this is the quote-unquote top of the group so far versus the quote-unquote bottom of the group so far, and it's been a good one. We've got one more map to play. Whoa, it's a full night of Valorant. I know I'm here for it. I know why it's here for it. So you better be here for it too. Head to a break. We'll come back. Map 3 after that.